Hello, my name is Jason Olea, and today I'm going to be conducting an interview with my good friend Bara, and we're going to be talking a bit about Star Wars and what a certain character means for her. Thank you, Bailey, for being here today and talking about this with me. It's just a great pleasure.
Of course, thank you for having me. I finally graduated college last December, which was 4 or 5 months ago. Got my degree in cinema design and production. Got with the Georgia Film Academy. I just started my first film job. We're working on an Amazon studio production. And yeah, we're currently filming it right now, and it'll be done by the end of May. And then we're gonna start with post-production and start editing it.
That's so great to hear that you're doing well. What I want to talk about with you is Star Wars, something that I believe the whole world likes. Like, who doesn't like Star Wars? So what has been your history with Star Wars, and how did you discover it?
So I grew up on Star Wars. It was my mom who actually got me into it. I remember growing up, we would have marathons. To me, it felt like every weekend. So it was probably more like every other weekend. We'd have a marathon of all the Star Wars movies, which at the time were just the prequels and the originals. I just loved it. And I was always on the dark side. Like, if you can't tell already, like, just the tattoo, I don't know, the vibe. I have always been on the dark side. I love the dark side. It's just, I don't know, it's just my home, you know? But yeah, grew up on Star Wars. I used to play with my mother's vintage action figures all the time, and I have them somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. I've moved around a lot, so I have some action figures somewhere. But
yeah, I remember growing up with Star Wars as well. At a very young age, I got a DVD set of the original trilogy back when I was like 10 years old, I believe. It's been so long, it's hard to remember. But my dad wanted to give it to me because he grew up with Star Wars as well. He's the one that introduced to me in the first place. And since then, I ate this franchise up to no end. Played a lot of the video games, watched all the movies and shows. I was enthralled by this world. And there are certain characters within this franchise that really do mean a lot to me. And I know for me, being more so on the light side, so yeah, a bit of friction there. Luke Skywalker was a bit of my idol. I want to know, who was your idol in the dark side?
my idol in the dark side has been Kylo Ren ever since The Force Awakens came out. A lot of people don't like him. Some people do. Some people are just, whatever. Kylo Ren grew up on the light side. He's the son of Leia Organa, aka Princess Leia, daughter of Darth Vader, which makes Kylo Ren grandson of Darth Vader. And his father is Han Solo. And so Kylo Ren grew up by the name of Ben Solo. That was when he was on the light side, and then he was corrupt throughout his childhood by Supreme Leader Snoke at the time, who ended up turning out to be Palpatine, aka Darth Sidious, aka the person who also took advantage of Anakin Skywalker growing up. So he's been the mastermind behind everything, and so he corrupted Kylo Ren's mind when he was little and just growing up. And so eventually, Kylo Ren turned to the dark side for numerous reasons. I could go on it for hours because I've read all the comic books and watched all the movies, done all the research. But I'd say one of the main things is that everyone always wanted him to be on the light side. Everyone always wanted him to live up to his name, because his name is Ben, and he was named after Ben Kenobi, aka Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so everyone always wanted him to be like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he was like, that's just, why can't I be me? I want to be me, not somebody else. And that bothered him, as well as just all the pressures and everything. And then he didn't even know until he was about my age, which is like 22, 23, he didn't even know that his grandfather was Darth Vader. Like, his parents had lied to him for years, and he found out by looking on what they call the HoloNet, which is basically the internet for them. And that's how he found out. And so it's like his whole life people had been lying to him about his lineage, yet people are forcing him to be something that he feels like he's not. Meanwhile, again, he's being corrupted and forced to think dark things. And so eventually his parents sent him away to go and train under Luke Skywalker, his uncle, who saw the darkness in him and was scared that he was going to turn into Darth Vader. Luke Skywalker tried to kill Kylo Ren while he was asleep, which I'm like, that is
dark.
That's pretty dark. But thankfully Kylo Ren woke up and saw that, and then he collapsed the room in on itself, and he thought that he killed Luke Skywalker, but he didn't. And then from then on, from about the age of 23 up until the age of 30, he was on the dark side, at first as a commander, but then he became the supreme leader by killing the former supreme leader and taking the power for himself. He killed his father, Han Solo, in The Force Awakens. He basically killed Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, which is episode 8. And then in episode 9, he turned to the light side and was redeemed, and then he died.
Not before getting some.
Oh! Ew! What the fuck?
Hey, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started about The Rise of Skywalker. I hate that movie for so many reasons.
P.S. I hate it even more. That movie's fucking ass.
I bet I hate it even more.
You are a Kylo Ren encyclopedia from everything that I'm hearing right now. This character, for me, has to be the best character in all the sequels, and I think it's due to how much care as a character for him that he's been given, how much depth he was given. And I know that for you, there was something about this character and the way he lived that related to you on a personal level. You mind explaining what that could be for us?
My introduction to Kylo Ren was bittersweet. I've always thought of it that way, because I was 14 years old when The Force Awakens came out, which was in 2015. And at the time, I was living with my paternal grandfather, who had been molesting me already for numerous years. It started when I was 6 and went all the way up until I was 16. And I was living with him at the time, and, you know, being a Star Wars fan, he was like, oh, yeah, I'll take you to go see Star Wars. And so I saw Star Wars, and my type has always been tall, dark, and handsome. Ever since I was a little girl, again, being on the dark side, and Kylo Ren fit the bill. But I also saw this broken side of him that I felt like I could relate to. And that was part of the reason why I also fell in love with Kylo Ren. I mean, it was love at first sight. You know, mask on and everything, I fell in love with him. But it was definitely the darker aspects of him and the broken side of him that really drew me in, because I felt like I could understand how he felt. And then, when The Last Jedi came out, and I saw more of that broken side of him, but also the side of him that wants to be understood but is misunderstood, the side that, again, feels like he didn't have a choice and was forced into a life that he didn't want to live, and how people misjudged him all the time, hence why, again, Luke tried to kill him. And again, also just being hurt by his mentor, by someone who he thought he could trust, which was Supreme Leader Snoke. And in episode 8, when I saw him kill Supreme Leader Snoke, I was like, I want to do that for myself. Not literally, like, kill somebody, but I was like, I wanted to kill that side of me that was holding me back, which was my paternal grandfather. And so for a long time, I always looked up to Kylo Ren, and I always admired him. I admired his strength and, you know, his courage in being able to do that. And so after seeing The Last Jedi, I came out about my grandfather. I told a trusted friend, told the police, and then I was put into foster care. And from then on, Kylo Ren became this coping mechanism for me, and it became that source of happiness and that source of, if he can get through it, I can get through it. And so here I am, 9.5 years later, and still obsessed with Kylo Ren.
That is very inspiring to hear. I know for a lot of people, fictional characters can resonate in some way, whether they are like considered protagonists or antagonists or good or bad. They're able to teach us some things in our lives that we can take either for the good or for the bad. I think for Kylo Ren, what he's able to do for you despite his allegiances in the film, I think the fact that he's able to give you such positive motivation is truly incredible. And I'm so happy for you and where you are now, doing what you love and looking very strong as well.
Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Take care of yourself.
You
Have
too.
a good day.
Bye.